4D Ornament Spinner Acrylic Nailer Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. Hi everyone, in today's video this is going to be a very easy 4D design. This nail took me about 12 minutes to do. So if that's telling you anything, that's not very much time at all. 12 minutes is almost nothing. Usually I spend about an hour on my designs, even ones that aren't four-dimensional. So 12 minutes really should tell you that this is quick, easy, and still has kind of that wow factor because it is 4D. This is a very simple ornament, and the ornament itself is just 2 beads. That's it, just 2 beads. I didn't have to doctor them at all, as long as you have a pretty red bead, or actually any color, you know. I just always do red. That's what I think of for ornaments. But a pretty little red bead, a little silver bead, and what's called a head pin, which is in, all of these things are going to be found in a jewelry making section of a hobby or a craft store. And that's pretty much it for the weird stuff. And then then it's just clear acrylic and some glitter and a little branch, and that's it. This design is so quick and easy, and like I said, is very doable in a salon. If you guys are looking for something that's 4D and kind of out there for a client that likes things that are a little more interesting, and you want to be able to get it done quick, this might be a winner for you. So I hope you guys like it, and don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well. So I'm going to begin and just kind of get my bead and hold it up to the end of the nail to make sure that the lines look like they flow properly, just to make sure that the angles on your nail are right, and then string your bead over your head pin, which is a pin, which is basically a piece of wire that has a little stopper on the end of it, and then add a little silver bead on top of your red one. So you have the little stopper on the end of the pin, and then your red bead, and then the little ornament cap with the silver bead. Then hold this up to your nail. Sorry, I'm going off camera a little bit, but hold your whole bead thing up to the nail, and then put a little mark where you want, or just, you don't have to use anything, but just figure out where you want the top of your wire to be, and then trim it off at that point. So now grab your nail glue, I know it's everyone's favorite substance, and put a line of glue up the nail to about the top of where your ornament is going to be, and then hold this in place. Now I am gluing my little silver bead to the nail. I'm going to make sure that one is stationary, and having that one stationary and having that glued on is going to kind of prevent you from getting any glue on your red bead, since you know that one's glued down, and just glue the very top of it. Hopefully that's going to create a little bit of a glue barrier between the nail and the red bead. And now I'm going to be encasing this with clear acrylic. Make sure that you do this kind of meticulously so that you can minimize the amount of filing that you have to do. I know that it's very difficult to file and not hit your beads, and if you hit your beads, then they lose their shine and it's not nearly as pretty. So just be very careful when you're creating your nail to try to keep it as perfect as you can, just in the sculpting phase of this. So I've got that first bead in there, and you also want to make sure you completely cover up your wire. So as you can see, I have a little bit of wire still showing through, but by the end of my encasing here, it won't show through anymore. And then I'm just going to be filling in the cuticle area. Like I said, keep it as perfect as you can, but if something does go wrong, it's easier to file it near the cuticle than it will be near the beads. So just be very careful when you're working on the bead area, especially when you're doing this. And you can file it, especially if you're using if you're using an e-file, you can kind of get around there and work on it, but it's just not very easy. So just be careful with that. I just kind of can't emphasize that enough. And I had a little bit of a dip in my nail there, so I'm just going to be filling that in with a little bit more acrylic. And as you can see, the nail shape really is pretty good at this point, but I am going to go through and file it. I kind of debated whether I wanted to do any filing on this at all, just because I knew that it wouldn't be super easy, but I decided I did want to thin out the cuticle area slightly and just kind of run the file over the top of it. It kind of fixes up the texture of the nail, and I also wanted to get rid of a little bit of little acrylic icicles on the edge of the nail, which I don't know if that's really the word you want to use, but I call them acrylic icicles. And then I'm going to take my finer bit and just sort of go over it. It's going to make your chrome powder look so much nicer if you have that really good base on your nail, that really smooth surface texture. So just take your really fine like buffer bit and just kind of go over it a little bit. So now I'm going to be applying a layer of no wipe top coat. And everything you're doing here, make sure you don't get it on your red bead. If you get a little bit on the silver bead, that's okay. But I'm going to be applying my no wipe top coat over the nail. And if you get stuff on your red bead and your red bead gets stuck down, it's not going to spin. And then applying a hollow chrome powder, I'm just going to start and apply it at the cuticle, and then don't really add much more powder to your little sponge applicator, and just sort of bring it down. This is going to create a really nice little gradient fade of this hollow chrome down the nail, and then apply a layer of gel sealer. Same thing, don't get it on your bead, and then throw that into your lamp to cure. But this creates just such a soft, gorgeous gradient, which kind of gets covered up by your branch if you are me, but you know what, I still loved it and I'm glad it's there. But I'm going to now be applying green acrylic for my little branch that the little ornament is hanging off of. So just take that and apply the green across that, and then use the tip of your brush to sort of fan it out into needles. So it doesn't take too much effort to get it to go into those little needles. It's a pretty easy process. And then taking some really like a darker green paint, a little bit of an evergreen color, I'm going to be adding little lines across it to make it look a little bit more needly. And then with black, I'm going to go along the bottom edge of this to add a little shadow on my needles. And then I'm going to take white and add a little highlight along the top edge of my needles, just a couple little lines of white, not too much, just to kind of brighten that up. And then apply matte top coat over the top of your branch, and you can still see that piece of wire that goes up through the nail, and then it looks like that's the little ornament hanger. So I hope you guys like this design. This ornament is so much fun. I absolutely love ornaments, and I love the ornament spinner. This is the second red ornament nail design I have on this channel, and I also have a video on my art channel, so check those out. Please share recreations with me on Facebook or Instagram. I'd love to see them, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!